Good morning to all respected delegates and participants. One thing I want to highlight is whatever views expressed in my presentation are based on my work in this field and are not to be treated as views of AERB. I'll be covering energy power requirement, historical development of technology and where we stand now, new and emerging innovative technologies, what we mean by that, expected challenges, what are going to be with respect to its safety assessment, whatever experience we have in dealing with such technologies in the past, and our preparedness for the future, and summary. So already this has been talked much. What I want to highlight in the right box where it's not just the technology that is being developed. Its use is now in the form of energy in all sectors. That is for industrial decarbonization. That also plays a lot of different role in with respect to whatever safety assessment we have been doing. That has been in industrial decarbonization. It is being used, and for flexible load following modes, small power grids, and waste minimization. Some of it is already covered by Agarwal sir. See, here is the pictorial view of what I meant to say. See, nuclear energy earlier used to be only with respect to this only with respect to electricity generation. Now, in last decade, the renewables are being used along with other electricity generation to build the energy demand. However, now energy requirement is coming as a fuel for transport and other factories, chemical plants. These are the major energy requirement industries I am highlighting, but many more will be there. Steel and aluminum industry, chemical plants, and oil petrochemical refinery. The energy can be in the form of generation of hydrogen and use, or directly steam and heat. So historically we have seen generation 1, 2, 3 and now 3 to 4 transition, and India is already going ahead with many 1000 megawatt and advanced 700 megawatt reactors, and FBR is in the pipeline. What we can see because of this climate change, this phase is not going to be same. There will be accelerated demand with respect to nuclear as a renewable for all energy needs, not only just electricity. So to meet those demands, a lot of technologies are being addressed. The basic thing is what we mean by innovative or new technology. So innovation can be, with respect to safety assessment I am talking, a new type of system structure, component or specific mode of operation relevant to safety that has not been previously used or being used in a new way. Technology exists, but a new approach is followed. So we don't have any proven engineering practice for nuclear power plants, not fully defined, or existing practice of safety standards need to be interpreted, a judgment to be used. Within this definition, if we bring into innovation into full spectrum, that means the degree of innovation fall into 3 categories. Some minor upgrades, all these kind of things we have been dealing with from last 20-30 years based on the technological solutions or based on the need, like following accident upgradations. The second and third bullet, evolutionary changes to existing solution which are being addressed now, and technology with new characteristics or properties. Some of things, those things already Kailash Agarwal sir highlighted, that is from front end to back end, everywhere we see the effect of these changes. A design with multiple innovation that includes changes compared to the existing plants is referred as innovative. So, based on the degree of innovation, the depth and the degree level of safety assessment also changes. So, new and emerging innovative technologies generally fall into these now, whatever the present scenario I am telling, water-cooled SMRs, which is of present whatever already is happening, high temperature gas cooled reactors already talked upon, sodium fast reactors which India is also following. Now in the medium term, molten salt and lead fast reactors and micro reactors which is for remote locations, that are the technologies which is being talked about now. And these just technologies are not being talked about. New approaches to safety like inherent safety enhancement, passive natures, new design features which include these are the technologies with new manufacturing technology, new fuels, and deployment mode, new maybe multi-module or maybe single operator operating many from remote locations. So these are the deployment modes and including the industry deployment. The challenges with such technologies span into these areas. It's like different nuclear fuels, reactor coolant is different and working medium maybe is different. Working principles and phenomena are different, like we had seen in Thrisophuel and molten salt reactor. Instrumentation and control, these are going to be quite a challenging ones with the introduction of more automation and AI. Approaches to reactor operation, they are different because less and less operator dependent, more and more automation is going to be happening. Human machine interface is going to affect surveillance, inspection and maintenance. So small entities and many entities are coming and there will be a centralized surveillance or how the human and present approaches like NDT techniques, whether valid or not, there are going to be a lot of material changes. Some of these, whatever I am highlighting here, codes and standards, use of engineering, proven engineering practice in different contexts, manufacturing and construction, non-electricity generation application, multi-unit and multi-module designs, transportable concept or siting concepts, because this is a totally new area, and computer codes, because new phenomena will be there, we don't have validated codes. So some of these I'll explain in little bit more. First one is fuel concept, like already it was highlighted, this tri-structural isotropic fuel, molten salt. What happens is there is behavior in different plant states. Fuel qualification program itself is a different one, because in operating domain itself, the characteristics of these fuel changes. And like sir was telling, Gupta sir was telling, so these such a molten salt reactor, with respect to time, the poison and the radioactivity level, both are changing. So what stage you take the safety assessment, that also plays a role. On-site transport, handling and storage of irradiated or unirradiated fuel is a area to be dealt with. Fuel cycle back-end and long-term management, especially for molten salt. Margins in safety for performance, acceptance criteria and design limits. How to assess? They are to be evolved. Now, coolant, with respect to coolant, like sodium, lead bismuth, molten salt, etc., we have a lot of experience with respect to sodium as a reactor coolant. What is first thing needed for any assessment is a development of its thermophysical and nuclear properties. And some of these fuels have a variation of nuclear properties with time itself because of coolant. So these are also to be taken into account. Coolant parameters in different plant states like freezing. Chemistry, this is a very tricky area coming to such fuels such as TRISO and molten salt especially, where quality impurities, storage and disposal, the storage itself may become a source term for an event by of such fuels. So there will be a new source in such reactors. How to deal with multiple sources you have to take into account in the safety assessment. These coolant require a different support system design, like our normally secondary circuits cannot be applied here because the radioactive coolant itself cannot be going into the other media and they are highly corrosive. So leak tightness requirement will be very high. New postulated initiating events and hazards may be evolved because of this relocation of radioactive source. Application of common entity, present entities may not be, because we have seen in sodium, because of opaque nature, visual examination is impossible. So many things have to be done in a different automated way. Instrumentation control, lot of already movement is happening into digital architecture, automation and AI. This poses a different problem. One is with respect to the failure predictable modes, and also it may have in a different way of failure, like it may disable the operator functions or misleading indications. Independence of defense in depth levels is questioned here because of these automations, same automation may be serving multiple defenses. New vulnerabilities include cyber attacks in these scenarios. Especially SMR, they are considering multi-modules and multiple reactor with a single control room. Now, presently, the new technologies is talking about advanced materials and manufacturing, like 3D printing. Already they have incorporated some of it. But we don't have any such manufacturing, we don't have any standards. Like present manufacturing is as per some standard ASME or RCC. But such new technologies don't have standards, and how to interpret and how to get a confidence in the outcome of those materials manufactured in this way. Failure mechanism, degradation mechanism has to be established. Passive safety features, already some work is going on in this. Generally, some, especially related to decay heat removal, generally weak driving forces are seen. Stability failure modes is one area, and scale testing and pre-optional testing is a must, and to what extent we can do is question. One of the areas still dealing with is the reliability assessment of such systems. Non-electricity generation application include hydrogen production, heat generation, desalination via cogeneration. Now here such like hydrogen production beside NPP, the unit itself may cause a bigger event and having impact on the NPP. Such things will now come into picture. This is one of the biggest concern people are addressing now, human and organizational implication, because more automation, you will not have experienced people deal with some very tricky situations, less of an operator, and because of this innovative modes of operation, loss of operator skill will be there, and what will happen is whenever emergency demand comes, how the person is going to deal with the situation because of loss of skill. That is one area. And as an organization, you want to have a maintenance and continuous monitoring. What single organization, small unit cannot have. There will be a different multiple organization involved. That is organizational implication that has to be dealt in such a new technological areas. Multi-unit and multi-module designs, this is one combination where operational states and configuration change, because at the same time some modules may be operating, some modules may be refueling, but half of the circuit is completely operating. So the one fault propagation from one side to other side is a possibility exists, and also common cause failure possibility exists. And in such scenarios, human interaction of a different operation mode and emergency preparedness and response, how they will be dealt. Because in one unit accident may be there, one unit is operating, and both are connected through common systems. The operating unit may demand that they should continue, and whereas the other emergency where it has happened, there will be a conflicting requirements. Safety analysis here, the main issue will be new innovative systems. We should have a validated computer code, but we don't have those. We have all the codes what are developed is mostly water cooled reactor now based on the intensive experimental studies and everything. IGCAR has developed those for required for sodium fast reactors. These are the areas where one has to establish a lot of postulating initiating events, acceptance criteria, and all these are going to be technology specific. Now we have these areas well established things, regulatory requirements related to DSA for water cooled PHWR or PWR and also FBRs, but the new technologies we have to establish these. Similarly, PSA. In all those, we have been taking operational state either shutdown or full power operation, but these technologies may demand a lot of combination of states, so that has to be assessed. Passive inherent design features that have to be assessed by safety analysis. The last one I highlighted, the transportable nuclear power plant. It is a totally new domain because here site itself may change. That will have a potential hazard change, safety analysis change, everything will change. So every situation has to be dealt, everywhere it is moving, and emergency planning requirement may be totally different. Because at one place you may have established everything, monitoring and EPR, everything, whereas you moved the reactor to other place, now again you have to establish or how to deal with this. And security aspects are one of the concerns for such reactors. Now I'll be talking how we have dealt with this different degree of innovation related to reactor review experience. One was Kudankulam NPP 1 and 2. You can see it has a reference plant which was Balakoa, which is 1000 megawatt VVR, but KK has many first of a kind system. So some level of innovation already exists. Not some, considerable, because many features were incorporated to deal with even Fukushima kind of situations, and also ATWS and extended SPO situations already it was imposed on them, and the KKNPP design was built like that. One thing was that it is a licensable in Russia, this design. PSAR, we have gone through all the PSARs with additional topical reports, especially for first of kind systems, where their performance is demonstrated by experimental demonstration. ERB codes and guides, generic intent and technology specific intent were seen. IAA review, one extra budgetary program review was seen. Regulatory body review recommendations were seen, and the whole review was completed without any issues. We can see here the licensing process and stages almost same. Some extended commissioning activities were incorporated. Similarly, PFBR, we had FBTR experience. Generic requirement were developed, and there was a specific safety criteria for design of PFBR was established in early 1991, and that has been used. PSAR supported by extensive testing done at IGCAR, that was the review basis, and international experience of FBRs were also taken into account. Here also licensing process and stage is almost same. What we can see is the ERB preparedness for new technologies. Mostly the regulations, nuclear safety fundamentals are not going to change. Level requirement remains same. Adequate technology-neutral regulation to address various design. Already some are incorporated, further work is in progress. Technology-specific covered for water-cooled reactor SFRs, optimized based on new experience, we are already doing it. Aspects may need to be evolved if new technology comes based on the technology's specific aspect, but keeping all the nuclear fundamentals and high-level requirements same. Safety review and licensing, it will be a graded approach, and here pre-application consultation will help both regulator and utility, and depending on the degree of innovation, depth of review will change. The licensing process is historically developed and adaptable to new designs. Basic structure will remain same. Innovative system design, qualification by experiment, that will be in part of the safety review. And here, based on the innovativeness, technical support from technical support organization like BIRC, R&D Institute, that will be necessary because of the new technologies. Regulatory oversight, till now, regulatory oversight has been, it's not complicated. Only manufacturing which is off-site, rest everything, our inspection and site observer continuously oversight is there. Off-site, we are depending on, we review QA of the utility, and depending on the implementation of that QA through utility, because there is a trust built in. Now the question comes is, with many different agencies involved, how to deal with this situation, as well as some of the situation there may be commissioning and operation may be happening off-site. That will be a area where concern is there, and also counterfeit and falsification. If private entities are there, how to deal with situation, these things has to be considered. Other aspect is multi-module consideration, number of technology, number of units, public awareness, confidence, especially new technology, additional consideration with respect to private and other entities, basically design authority dependence, and progressive now study on new innovative technologies, including SMRs is already there. We have been participating in IEA activities in this area. In summary, I would like to say that ARB regulatory framework evolved over time, applicable for new build, schedule and level of checks, graded approach, stage-wise clearance accorded after thorough review. Most of the requirements are generic, technology neutral, and can be applied to new technologies. Technology-specific requirement covered for already water-cooled reactor and SFRs. Many SMRs are water-cooled reactors, so we can apply them. Technology-specific aspects may need to be evolved based on the new technology, if anything comes. AERB progressively getting involved in multilateral and bilateral forums to deal with such situation. Further study and progressive revamping of regulation in progress. Thank you.